the camera started rolling about Hunter's IQ. And I'm not coming here today telling you that Hunter's this mastermind, this genius mastermind. How I describe him to many people is a political whore. So he'll whore his connections and family out to somebody who can use him. And the people that use him are varied. They're foreign oligarchs, they're domestic lawyers, they're other lobbyists who know they can get something from him. So the thesis is not that Hunter is this genius. It's that he is, like you said, he's a conduit. So Hunter's job was to bring in the bacon. And he actually complains to his daughter, Naomi, who just got married at the White House in November of 2022, that he had to give his dad his salary for 30 years, or half his salary for 30 years. So we have an admission from the son of the U.S. president to the granddaughter of the U.S. president that said the president forced Hunter to give him half his salary for his entire life. That in a sane country, that's a RICO violation. Basically, that will have meant that Joe lied on his tax returns, and that Hunter fed him money illegally, and he didn't declare the gift tax on that. Like you said, this is a tragedy. Why would I celebrate the fact that I think the president of my country is compromised by foreign interests because his son still has a 10% share in a CCP backed fund? Why I take no pleasure in that. I'm confident to say that nobody in the Western world, I just say the Western world because I'm sure the Chinese have a deeper dossier on the Bidens than we do in their Ministry of State Security. But in the Western world, I'm confident that nobody has dug into the American First Family more than us. And so that's where I'll start. I've just become obsessed with studying the family. I've done it for about 2 years now, and I took 18 months to write this comprehensive dossier. And that's how me and Whitney got connected, because there's so much. Joey B., the president, was the leading force behind China getting into the WTO and the Senate side. And so it's now been a full arc of 20 years. Joe was at the beginning of getting China in the WTO, and now he's benefiting through his son, because his son is still invested. He has a 10% share in a state-backed fund called BHR. Bob Alinsky signed up to help the Bidens spread the Belt and Road Initiative around the world, and realized that he got screwed by Hunter. Basically, what happened is they were going to get like a $10 million windfall, and Hunter cut Tony out and kept the money himself and got it through another LLC vehicle. And Tony didn't realize everything that had happened until this report came out in September of 2020 by Ron Johnson, Senator Ron Johnson. And so Tony's in this weird spot of being a whistleblower, absolutely, but he was also like in bed with him in a way, but then came clean. He righteously kissed and told about it. So Tony's definitely on the right side of things in this scenario, but it's a weird case because for a time he too was signed up to spread the Belt and Road Initiative around the world. And you know what BRI is, but some people may not know. And it's basically like Hunter wasn't an international businessman selling like Japanese software to American clients. He was trying to get Chinese imperialism into Colombia, into the United States through infrastructure programs.
River's the best place to buy Bitcoin. Go to river.com/TFTC, sign up today, set up an account, and start stacking sats. Back to
not
the video.
ignorant to what the British Empire and other Western white empires did in the centuries preceding us, right? So I'm not saying that we've never done, our side, the Western world has never done an equivalent of BRI. I'm just saying now they're not really being honest about what it is, and the fact that Hunter thought this was a good thing. And Joe, again, the main thing with Tony, you mentioned Tony Bobolinsky, the main thing with that entire story that, again, the media is ignoring is that Joe was on the ground floor. The reason why Tony came forward, and to rational beings who aren't biased, it was important, was because Tony met with Joe twice about this. So, like, Joe was well aware of what the Biden family was going to do with CEFC. And so essentially you have an American president now whose family, the deal wasn't consummated completely. They were planning on getting like Hunter in an email said that the deal was 3 years long, $10 million a year guaranteed just for introductions alone to these American political figures to start out these infrastructure projects. But they only, I don't want to say only, but the final figure ended up being $6.8 million that we have a paper trail of. So the Bidens collected $6.8 million in a planned joint venture with the Chinese company that was going to spread the Belt and Road Initiative, and that's what we have for an American president.
And so, just to express the gravity of this, like, is this pay to play, essentially?
Yeah, what the statutes in our report, I went through every single email, 128,000 emails on the device that was abandoned at a repair shop. We put all of those emails online, by the way, that any of your viewers can go look up. It's called BidenLaptopEmails.com. It's a simple Boolean search, and what's different than WikiLeaks is that we put the entire cache up there, so people can, if they want to see the metadata for the emails, because I'm obsessed with metadata, they can go download it themselves. So they don't just have to search our site. You can go download the 128,000 emails, look at the metadata for each, and search for them by, it's fascinating to go by keyword search or just email address. And so what we did was we went through all these emails, all of the iMessages, Marty, and we found at the very least, this is a floor, 459 violations of state and federal laws and regulations. I don't say statutes because some of the stuff we cite are regulations not passed by Congress per se, but by the agencies. So 459, and the lion's share of these violations are FAR violations, representing a foreign principal without declaring that representation to the Justice Department, and then money laundering, which obviously is something that we can talk about here because your audience is a little bit different than some of the shows I go on. So I think they know more about money laundering than most of the shows I go on. So FAR violations, money laundering, and then that's the first section of the report, business-related crimes. And the report, by the way, if anybody wants to follow along, is free online at our website, marcopolousa.org. You can keyword search, you can follow along. And so the business-related crimes is first, and then the smaller two sections following that are sex-related crimes and drug-related crimes.
Yeah, you guys censor a lot of the the pictures, but
we put no genitalia.
Vulgar.
Yeah, it's extremely vulgar. We cover up all the genitalia. We put a disclaimer at the front page that says this is for an adult readership. So we don't put any genitalia out there. One of the left wing talking points is that like the Republicans are obsessed with Hunter Biden's genitalia. It's like maybe some other weird people are, but we're certainly not. That's not our focus. If Hunter Biden was purely a degenerate with no business interests, this would be like a story worth one or two Substack articles.
Yeah, just a sad story if it was just that.
If it was just that, it would be a joke. But it's that he's kept the influence peddling going with his art sales.
Yeah, that's what I think. There's